We travelled to Tilbury in Essex and met up with 5 mods to discover the dedication that's involved in the lifestyle. But how did they become mods?
I got introduced at the Bridge House, up in Canning Town, with the bands, and that was too young for a scooter, but it still didn't stop me getting one. Started with a little Vespa 50, like everybody did, I suppose.
I was a 10-year-old kid looking out the window at night time, seeing a Lambretta parked all black under the lamppost shining at night, and I decided that I was going to have one from that moment.
I was about 16, started going out with a bloke and he gave me a lift over on the back of his Vespa one night, and I thought, I've got to get one of these, they're fantastic.
I was sort of like brought up on stories of what my mother used to get up to on scooters and what have you, and I bought this when I was about 15, 16 and kept it ever since. This is my baby and I'll never sell it.
I suppose I got interested when I was about 15, 16. So in the past few years really I've had the money to do it and that. Love it, the scene doesn't seem to have changed. All the blokes are in it, you know, blinding, you know, it's good, it's great.
It's like when you was kids though, wasn't it? When you was kids it was, you looked at all the rockers and all that and there was all the old men, you know, and you thought, well I wouldn't be doing that, but you're the same now, we're all between 35 and 40, you know what I mean? That's how the scene is now, isn't it? It's all gone around, isn't it? It's coming back, you know?
A lot of youngsters coming into it now.
Yeah, it's a passion, isn't it? You know, I think once you get into it, you might not always own a bike, but you always, I mean, the music is the most important thing, isn't it? You know what I mean? That's what keeps us all going, isn't it? You know, it's all the different music and what people listen to, you know? I didn't really go many rallies in the 80s. We used to bank holidays, it was skinhead fighting and, you know, so the scooter stayed at home really for us. I mean, we used to sort of do Brighton, we used to go down to Southend, you know, Margate, it was just really for the fight more than anything. Not like these fellas, sort of up and down the country on 50cc bikes, taking weeks to get there, weeks to get home.
My first one was Brighton in 1984, but I wasn't old enough to ride a scooter, so I went on a train. First one on the scooter was Clacton 85, and I've done maybe 65, 70 rallies to date, I suppose.
I think though, if you're going to have a Vespa, a P-range is fantastic if you want to do the long rallies.
For reliability, you go in distance and that.
You get on it, press a button, and you're away, you know.
That's the trouble with like a Lambretta and that, they are good and they are reliable, but you are always a little bit on the back foot as to whether you're actually going to get there or not. It's, you know.
I think people of today want to be too comfortable, don't they? If you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like the old days, is it? You'd go up the road and you'd have a bag on the front, a bag on the back, you know.
I mean, well, personally speaking, I mean, I've had this since I was like 15, 16. I've taken this up and down the country and I run it into the ground. I like to restore it again, you know. And I didn't want to run this into the ground again, so I bought a Vespa P-range, you know. Just took me up and down the country, all full, no problems. This is my baby. I'm never going to do that sort of again, never.
Down to the folding stuff at the end of the day, they're not cheap to do. Some of these bikes cost thousands of pounds to restore, so it's not something you want to treat badly, you know.
Yeah, I think everybody's standards have gone up. There's a lot of scooter shops around, and their standards are so high. I suppose really everything's been done out there, isn't it? You know, there's people now that are doing things to bikes which somebody else hasn't done. It's very hard these days because a lot of, you know, it's gone round. You know, there's a lot of people starting to cut them again, and they customise them. You know, and I think, you know, a lot of people are getting out. I think of just a straight scooter now. You know, people are always looking for different ideas. You know, especially making them go faster.
Yeah.
It's harder and harder, isn't it?
Value's gone up an awful lot as well. So I did this one 9 years ago, cost of 800 quid, but I wouldn't want to have to do it now. I wouldn't even get the bodywork for this bike for £800 now, so I feel sorry for the people just getting into the scene that want a nice scooter and can't afford it.
It's like Fish's bike, I mean, he's spent a couple of thousand on that at least.
Sick, or get me into trouble with the wife now, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah,
really.
You know,
£200 or £300, yeah.
A couple of thousand, if not more, and it's ongoing. It's ongoing, isn't it?
I thought it was 5,000 actually.
Yeah. But if he wanted to build that bike today, if you went into a shop and asked someone to build you that bike with that colour scheme, I think you'd be looking at £4,000 plus. You know, it's doubled since, and you've owned that what, 2 years now?
Yeah.
You know, and that's doubled. You know, since he started, and I don't know when it's going to stop.
We'll get more mod views after the break. Back in Tilbury.
Youth today just doesn't know what's missing. There hasn't been a proper youth culture as such, is there? Like where we had mods skinheads, rockers, you know, whereas now that they haven't had it, you know, so it's good now that a lot of the young ones are looking at it and they're saying, you know,
I think that's changing.
that's
actually.
it. They are.
There's been
They're
a
having a
revival
crack.
though, isn't there? In the last few years there's been a revival on scooters. That's why we've really got back into it. You know, we've always had the music, always gone to the do's and that. You know, over the last 5 years I think a lot of people started buying scooters again, and a lot of it's down to the import. They're importing so many scooters in now, aren't they? You know, at the moment I think the prices have gone through the roof, but you expect that with anything really, you know.
It's not too bad for the smaller stuff, the like small Vespers and stuff for the kids that are getting 50s, and the prices are still relatively okay. But it's the bigger stuff and the Lambrettas and things.
A lot of twist and goes are coming now, aren't they? A lot of people are buying twist and goes, and you know, I mean, they've got categories now in the shows for twist and goes, haven't they? Best automatic, you know, best custom automatic. You know, it's one day they are all going to run out, aren't they?
Yeah.
These are all going to run out one day, you know.
The autos will definitely be the future of the scene though, in time. You go to motorcycle rallies and how many old British bikes do you see? They're getting fewer and fewer, and it's more and more modern motorcycles. It'll be exactly the same with the scooter scene, as the older ones get rarer and rarer, or crashed or stolen, whatever.
I think there'll always be a craving for sort of like retro type scooters, and it just takes someone with a little bit of foresight to produce something that's a little bit retro.
I own 3 scooters, and one's mod, one isn't. One's a straight bike, one's a mod bike, a Vespa. I don't know, I think it's what people like, isn't it? I mean, I've done this because this is what I first bought, so when I went back into it I wanted to build a bike that I had. I'll be honest with you, I didn't really know about all the different models at the time. I mean, in the 80s I bought an LI, and to me a Lambretta was an LI, you know. There's loads of ways you can go with scooters, you know. But I think if you speak to 90% of the people that are in scooting, especially if they've been in scooting a long time like these two have, it's the majority of people had a mod bike, didn't they? And the majority of people, if they can, do keep one.
I think you go through phases as well. I mean, I did. I had a P range. That's my first bike. Then I used to go to the Isle of Wight and used to see all these bikes with mirrors and lights on. And you think, wow, that looks fantastic. So then I got a 150 Sprint, and I had 2 whip aerials, foxtails, mirrors and lights everywhere, and it was so heavy. But I went everywhere on it, and I had my mirrors and lights on everywhere. And I've still got that, but I've also got a Rally 200 now, and that's completely plain, completely standard, not modified in any way. And it's like you say, I think everyone has got one that's a mod bike and one that's not. So, and depending on what mood takes you, depends on which one you ride.
These are definitely eye catchers, you know what I mean? Go down the road I think all scooters are eye catchers. With the amount of twist and goes that are out now, you know, I mean, when one comes along, to the person who don't know, they just look like a scooter. But when you have one like this, you see a lot of people looking at them, because a lot of people remember it was similar in their day, like sort of thing. Even if it was the 80s or the 70s or the 60s, they remember this sort of stuff, don't they? You know?
Yeah, I mean, you've experienced it. You go out riding with somebody who's got a plain scooter, you know, they say, oh, why does everyone look at you? Why doesn't anyone look at me? It's the lights, the mirrors, everything. It's what, you know, attracts people, you know, shiny objects, and it magnifies.
I'm lucky that I build my own bikes, so I'm not subject to labour costs, and the fact that I bought my bikes a long time ago means I've got reasonable money, so I can spend all the hours putting mine together. So consequently I've got this one which is modded and tends to be predominantly a fair weather bike, although it has been out in all weathers, and then I've got one that's bog standard to look at, but it's fully tuned, raced up engine. I've got one that's classic, I've got one that's just bog standard stock production bike. So I get different moods every day and decide which one I'm going to ride. But
it's nice to have a choice, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, at least most people would have at least 2 scooters, and you'd probably find that they would be completely different.
It's personal. I mean, I'd rather not sort of like, it's about attention and your scooter being noticed, but I'd rather not sort of like draw that much attention to myself, really, to be honest. Christ, I ginger hair for most of their life, so can you blame me? You know, it's just down your own personal sort of thing, really. No, I mean, I do actually own another one. It's sort of, I've got a couple of mirrors on it, but nothing, you know, in the league of you guys. You know, just into it for me, really. You know, I don't want to see down the road and have people sort of like, you know, go look at that. You know, I'm not really into that. I'm just in it for me. You know, I do scooters for me. You know.
A lot of people prefer the classic lines of a bog standard bike anyway. You can't beat the Italians for styling, so when it comes down to vehicles, clothes, absolutely anything, their styling is second to none in the world, and world famous for it. So a lot of people would look at these with lights and mirrors on the front and think that it's taken away from the natural lines of the bike, you know. But it's each to their own, I think.